I'm here once again with Frank Turner. How are you doing?
I'm very tired at the moment, if I'm honest with you. This has been a long year. We are clocking in at 192 shows this year.
Is that it?
But I mean, including travel and all the rest of it, I think we're just shy of 300 days out on the road this year, which is a lot, you know.
See, the first time I ever interviewed you was actually here.
Right.
The day before Valentine's Day, 2.5 years ago.
Yes, on the last day of our arena tour.
Yes. So you just played the O2 and then you came here. Then last night you had your world premiere of your film, and now you're here.
Yeah.
Every time you play Portsmouth, you do have to do something ridiculous beforehand.
I'm just trying to shame Portsmouth all the time. No, I don't know. It's just it seems to have worked out that way. I mean, last night was a funny one, just because. I mean, as much as it was great and it was wonderful, I've never been to a premiere before, let alone had one that was something to do with me. But the film is not my piece of art; it's Ben's film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've done lots of press about it and all the rest of it, but it's essentially him being the artist. You know?
Let's get him in then.
Well, he is, I'd imagine, sleeping off the hangover from the expensive bottle of whiskey I bought him yesterday to say thank you for making the film. I thought he did a wonderful job. I was really pleased with how the film came out. I thought it was really cool.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to see it last night.
It will, of course.
Yes.
People are asking, like, is it ever going to get released on DVD? It's like, no, we're going to spend a year making a film, show it once, and then like burn the negatives. I mean,
that's what I thought was going to happen.
Right. So that is
I thought literally as the premiere ended, they were destroying the tape.
They're literally on the other side of the projector. There was a furnace that the film was going to. No, it's gonna get like a DVD. I think it might end up on Netflix as well. I don't really know, to be honest. It's a new world to be a part of for me. But yeah, it's going to be available for everybody to see at some point.
Random festival. You just announced that you're going to do a 4-day festival.
Yeah, I've been planning it for some time. I'm excited about it. I mean, I've wanted to do a festival type event for a long time. We spent a lot of time talking about doing one in a field. I spent some weekends driving around some fields and looking at them, and it's quite difficult to imagine a festival in a field. You're like, somebody like the guy's like, look at this place, and I'm like,
it's a field.
Yeah, it's a field. I mean, cool. But I mean, aside from the fact that it's a much bigger undertaking to put a festival in the field. Secondly, I realised after a while that all I was trying to do was have my own version of Beautiful Days, the Levellers Festival, and the Levellers already have Beautiful Days, and it's great, and we play there pretty often, and there's no point in duplicating something that already exists. You know what I mean? So. Wanted to do something different. I'm a sort of like proud adopted son of Camden Town, so and the Roundhouse has amazing heritage and history. It also does loads of community work as well, which is really important because we want it to be kind of a community event. So we took us a long time to convince the Roundhouse to let us book 4 nights in a row, but we did, and it's mostly sold out now, which is exciting because it's not been on sale for a week yet. So. But yeah, so it's gonna be fun. We're just putting together the last of the support acts for the sort of main stage. There's gonna be like 2 stages in the building. We're taking over like 5 or 6 other venues as well, so it's gonna be a big old event.
And then obviously we have the 2000th show. That's just crazy saying that amount of numbers.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's funny, like I hadn't really started thinking about the film until yesterday afternoon because I just haven't had time. And similarly, I've sort of just about started thinking about the actual implications of Show 2000 about 20 minutes ago. So, I don't know, it's funny, it's like on the one hand, it's like, that's nuts, and on the other hand, it's like, well, that's what I do. I mean, I'm sure that people could celebrate their 2000th day in the office. Not that I'm trying to say that what I do is qualitatively the same as working an office job necessarily, but I mean, you know, I'm a performing musician, and the fact that I have performed many times is not perhaps the most surprising thing in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a cool thing. It's going to be. The thing, when we came up with Show 1000, I was initially really wasn't planning on marking it in any way because, you know, I was like, oh, every show is equally important and it's just a number rolling over and blah, blah, blah. And then I just kind of got over myself, realised it was an excuse for a party. Yeah. And that's basically what we're doing tomorrow as well. We're going to have a party. It's going to be killer.
And I love the fact you always support and bring your friends out on tour, like Beans on Toast and stuff. I love that about you.
Thank you.
And you've never changed, no matter how big you got. And I think that's one of your like real redeeming features, not redeeming. Like what are the, like the rest of you's evil, but that's the one redeeming feature.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, well, we got the Taylors playing tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. The Taylors are the band that got me into country music, and they broke up 10 years ago. They're getting back together for tomorrow night. I'm now in the Taylors because their guitarist moved to Canada. So yeah, it's really. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but that's almost the bit of tomorrow I'm looking forward to most.
But it's something different for you though. Which is a little bit
yes,
more
true. I mean, that's the thing I'm doing tomorrow that is different from what I usually do.
Right, we do normally play a game.
Yes, we do.
And because it's Christmas...
Oh, these crazy games we play.
Because it's Christmas, I thought I would give you your present early. Right. Instead of having to win it through the game. Okay. And because you've now conquered film, music and literature, right, the next obvious step forward is puzzles. So,
fuck me. Look at that. That's a lovely.
It's an actual puzzle as well. There's actually a puzzle.
That is an actual. That's amazing. That fucking. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you. I always think that picture for me. I was so sick the day that picture was taken. I just had my knuckles tattooed about 3 days beforehand, and it wasn't causing anything, but I had like a fever and was shaking, and we were sat on this beach, and it was really sunny, and I was just kind of going and sweating and just feeling awful. And now I've got it commemorated forever in a puzzle. Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, man. That's very kind. You didn't have to. Thank you.
Well, you know, I thought the only way of stepping up from chocolate was clearly puzzles.
Yeah, I mean that's a common
logical
thing.
Movement.
Yeah.
This is how my mind works.
Excellent. No, that is the first puzzle with my face on that has ever existed to my knowledge. So, up high.
Boom. Right. So 5 questions. You don't really have to get these right anymore because you've already got the
I have got the I could just fucking throw caution to the wind.
Yeah, you could. Right. Dream festival to headline, besides your own. Because you're already doing that.
Well, I mean, it's sort of the obvious answer is Glastonbury, really, simply because it's such a culturally iconic event.
According to Setlist FM,
right.
Hide the answers.
Sorry, yes.
What is your most played song that you've performed live?
I'm going to say Recovery.
No.
No? Okay,
that was close.
I Still Believe.
That's second. Photosynthesis.
Oh yeah, of course, right, yeah.
That's like 890 times.
Yeah, well, the part I was trying to correct for bias in there because Setlist FM has only really picked up properly in the last few years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So certainly, I feel like in terms of like frequency of being played in the period of time that since exists as a song, Recovery is my most played song. God fucking damn, I can play that song in my sleep. Do you know what I mean? And I love that song. It's great. It's done me well. But like we did when we were touring Take That Car, me and Matt were doing like 2 to 3 radio sessions a day, and every single one we play Recovery. So we're playing that song 4 times a day, every day for like 2 years. It was fun, but occasionally got a little bit trying.
Good thing it's a good song then.
Yes, well, totally.
Because if it was a bad song, then that would be pretty rubbish.
That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah. Take that. Thank you. Right, most famous person you know?
That's an interesting question. I mean, like, it's funny. Like, I had a thing a few years ago where I did some stuff for Teenage Cancer Trust, and they do great things, and they have these wards they build specifically for teenagers who have cancer. And those kids are really disarming because, like, they're still just kids. You know, they're suffering, but they're still just kids. And also, like, you know, I'm an obscure underground artist. Like, and I was in this room with these little kids, and they were like, just didn't have any idea who I was and didn't give a fuck. Which was kind of nice in a way, because it's quite humbling in a good way. And this girl, she was like, "Who's the most famous person you got on your phone?" And I was like, I mean, obviously, first of all, if I'm friends enough with somebody to have their phone number, I don't really think in those terms. Yeah. But then I was like, Billy Bragg? And she's like, "Who the fuck's Billy Bragg?" And I was like, okay. So I was sort of like trying to think about it again. And I sort of couldn't really come up with anyone really that impressed her. I mean, I've got Noel Fielding's number. He's a mate. He's quite famous, I suppose. I don't have Eddie Redmayne's number, but I do know him. We went to school together. Funny enough, we were the 2 of the social outcasts in our year at school. Everyone hated us, and we hated them. So,
all right.
Yeah, and he's a lovely guy. I mean, I don't see him regularly or anything, but we've crossed paths here and there since then, and he's always been a sweetheart.
Oh, right. When is your niece taking over merch design full time?
Soon. My sister is quite keen to farm her children out to me for work opportunities. They've got small hands, very good for restringing guitars. No, she's cool. They're fun. She made another one which I haven't put up yet that just says, "Why listen to Taylor Swift when you could listen to Frank Turner?"
Yes!
which is a valid argument.
Also, what is Santa bringing you this year? So I've got to try and get Christmas here somehow.
Yes, I don't know because Santa is making that decision himself. I do have an Iron Maiden stocking hanging above the fireplace in my house. It's not a working fireplace, but there's a sort of little fireplace. And my girlfriend brought me an Iron Maiden stocking this year. So
that's amazing.
I'm looking forward to Eddie coming down the chimney.
Right, finally, when we're getting a new album and what are you doing for the 10,000th show?
Well, okay, to take that in reverse order, a couple of people have asked me how many shows I think I'll get to, which is a horrible question to ask because it's essentially asking me when I think I'm going to die, or at the very least how long I think I'll be popular for. You know what I mean? Doing the maths on it, I would have to tour as hard as I've toured for the last decade until I'm in my 80s to reach 10,000 shows. And
that's fine.
I don't think that's going to happen. I honestly don't, simply because, the physical constraints on what I do get harder year on year, So, as much as that's a lovely idea, I doubt that's the thing that's going to happen. But new album, basically that is what I will be doing next year. Is working on a new record. I have tons and tons of songs, and I'm kind of in the middle of trying to figure out which ones to concentrate on at the minute because they're all heading in quite radically different directions, both musically and lyrically. So I don't know really. I want to get on with making that decision pretty soon. I'm really excited about it. I want to do something that's going to shock, surprise, and irritate people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely that is the main thing that I'm spending my waking life thinking about right now.
Awesome. Wow.
But I couldn't put any sort of timescale on it.
Well, that's all right. As long as we know it's there, it's coming, we're happy.
Okay, that's as long as you're happy.
That's what matters, isn't it?
Okay, that's the only thing that matters.
Well, thank you very much.
Awesome.
As always,
Thanks very much, man.
it's been amazing. Thank you.